Well, Happy New Year to everybody. I am on here today to talk a little bit about something that, most people talk about it. What are you going to do for your New Year's resolution? And I have a little bit of a different take. Having worked for so long with so many people who are midlife and older, the whole reinvent yourself every year often isn't something that resonates with a lot of people. It's something that makes people feel initially pretty good, but we know that 77% of people ditch their New Year's resolution by the end of the first week. So, um, rather than feeling like you've failed already in the beginning of a new year, why not start a little bit differently and take into account that you've already got some pretty good things going already and maybe enhance some of those? So, I wrote an article last week about this in Psychology Today, and you can find it there. I also write about this and other things in my Substack called The Right Side of 40. So if this is something of interest to you, check it out. My name is Deborah Heiser. I'm an applied developmental psychologist. I specialize in midlife and aging, but everything I talk about is relevant to people of any age. So anyway, most of our resolutions fail. If you are setting some resolutions and they don't work out, you are not alone. You're in good company. 77% of the time, they fail. So do not think that you are, a failure if your New Year's resolutions don't work out. And if you're one of the 77% who ditch it after the first week. So, um, most traditional resolutions collapse really quickly. And it's not because we have a willpower problem. It's because we try to do an overhaul in our lives and we try to do it overnight. I'm going to fix how I look. I'm going to fix, what I eat. I'm going to fix how I exercise. I'm going to fix something major. And the reason part of that doesn't work is because we're kind of working on a self-shame kind of a mentality that often doesn't work well. Who wants to work off of a shame mentality? So if you're already starting with, I need to change everything about myself, that doesn't give you long-lasting motivation to keep going. So you really have to think about that. If you're going to say, I want to overhaul all the things that I don't like about myself, that's not going to last long. That's going to be a pretty quick failure. And that happens for most of us when we do that. So, you know, resolutions should not be a fix yourself or a shame based thing that's a future focused activity that doesn't have meaning to your regular life because that keeps you stuck in all kinds of self criticism. Um, So, what we need to do is to set up something that is an intention that we have that aligns with the values that we have, like connection, contribution, purpose. All of these things are things that are intrinsic motivators for us. They keep us going. Hi, good to see you on here. I appreciate you coming on. So when we start to think about any of these things that we normally like to do, we're built to want to connect with others. We're built to want to give back. We're built to, be sort of purpose motivated. If we start to think of what do I want to do this year that's aligning with some of that stuff, we're already doing it anyway. So it helps us if we're just building on what we already are doing and what we like and what we enjoy. And that gives us the opportunity to align with those 19% of people who are really successful with their New Year's resolutions and they keep going on for years in many cases. So think of those sorts of things. There's always something that you're really good at that is connecting you with others. Maybe it's that you say to yourself, I'm going to work to make sure that I keep my connections really strong. I'm going to text people and let them know I'm thinking about them. I'm going to set up meetings with people that I really care about. I'm going to make sure that my connections with those who I care about are happy birthday, are really in line with how I want to stay connected with people. And you can even think about people um, that you haven't been in contact with for a long time and reconnect with those people. This is the time to do that. That's something that we can easily do. That's something that is not big overhaul of our lives. It's tapping into something we're already good at. These are the kinds of things that are not shame based. They're things that work for us and that we can then see those as continuous wins in our lives. So, connection is usually an easy one for most people because we're already doing it. Contribution, everyone contributes. We just don't give ourselves credit for this. So, a lot of times people are doing things like helping others. They're doing nice things for people. They're mentoring people. They are donating their time and as volunteers or doing all kinds of nice things for others. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to do one act with one person every day, I am going to do one nice thing for a person. I'm going to hold the door open for somebody as I enter a building. I'm going to do one small, nice act every day for one person. You are going to be able to see enormous impact. It's those kinds of things that we're doing anyway. Most people hold the door open for the person coming behind them. They do these nice things. We just don't give ourselves credit for it. So, in advance, if you say to yourself, I'm going to start to call out some of the things that I already do, and I'm going to do more of that, that's going to keep the New Year's resolution being about more you rather than new you. And so this is something that's another, so it's connections, it's doing any kind of the contributions that you would normally do. And then another thing is purpose. Maybe there's something that gives you a sense of purpose in your life that you want to continue with or do more of. That could be anything. Maybe you like to write, maybe you like to read, maybe you like to educate yourself with courses or audiobooks or podcasts. Give yourself the opportunity to do more of that. Maybe you like to do, any kind of a DIY, whatever it is that gives you purpose, that you feel good about, add that. Make it be something like that. That's where, if we're setting our intentions for our New Year's the right way, we're not overhauling ourselves. We're giving more of ourselves and enhancing what we're already great at and what we like to do. So that's something that you can do. So anything can be purpose driven. Everyone is purpose driven and it's different for everybody. It's very subjective. So what I might find to be really meaningful might not be for somebody else. So that's why it's so easy for us oftentimes to pick things that we want to do that's a change in ourselves because we hear it so often from others, go join a gym, eat less, do other things that are going to fix you. You don't need fixing. You really just need more of you and to do more of the things that make the world a better place. So if you set intentions for connection, we know that connection is a big deal. There's all kinds of social prescribing that happens, and that's a literal prescription that is out there to combat loneliness. So if you start to think of your connection as a prescription for well-being, that it's going to protect you against loneliness, depression, and other health risks that are associated with isolation, this is going to be very helpful for you in terms of keeping your resolution to continue with connections. So tie it to something bigger, not just that, you enjoy people, you enjoy hanging out with them, but see the bigger picture, that connection is actually something that matters to us physically, not just emotionally. So bring that into your way of thinking with any of these, that all of this more of you is going to be more healthy for you. So you can see a lot of articles about social prescribing, connection, loneliness, and how important all of this is for all of us, especially as we grow older. So if you start this earlier at a younger age, it's even better. So this can be something like just saying, I'm going to show up for people regularly. Now, that could be something that is as simple as saying something like, I'm going to make sure the people know that I'm thinking about them. I'm going to text them, let them know that I'm around, that I'm thinking of them. If somebody is making a statement or something like that on social media, you can connect with them there. You can let them know that you are showing up for them. If somebody says they need help, you go and you help them. Showing up is a whole, it can be as large or as small as you want it to be, but showing up can be as simple as a text or a comment or something like that, or a like that allows people to see that you are noticing them and that you care. So building those connections, make it whatever you can make it be. You do not have to set your intention to be something enormous or huge. You make change for yourself and others with some of the smallest acts that, we could really imagine. We don't have to do something that's so amazing, one big amazing thing. We just need to do the very small acts that act like a snowball and grow and develop over time as we keep doing them. So it could be a weekly call that you make, a check-in with a text, a one-on-one meeting with somebody. It could even be on Zoom. It doesn't matter if it's in person or not. The connections that we have with people are, I know that most people have had a relationship where you say, oh yeah, there's somebody in my life who I get together with them, and a whole year could go by, but when we pick up the phone or we see each other, it's like no time has passed. Well, that is the case. So now's the time that you could set your intention to keep up with all of those people and maybe even strengthen some of the connections that you have with others that aren't as strong. So another easy one is the intention for giving back. This one's always really easy. We're always doing it. We never give ourselves credit for it. So if we start to give ourselves credit for it, it makes us feel better. So if you can think of yourself as always building a legacy, no matter how old you are, you could be really, really young and you could be already building your legacy. You could be saying, oh, I missed the boat for my legacy and I'm in my 90s, and you could still be building your legacy then. It's never too late. It's never too early. So, you can think about mentorship. Mentorship is something as simple as helping a person to solve a problem. It could be passing down family traditions, family values, any of that. That's mentorship. You can say, I'd like to make sure that my legacy involves, something that has to do with something that matters to me. We're all built to mentor. We're built to pass on our wisdom. You don't have to be a certain age to do this. This increases our life satisfaction and sense of purpose. Students are often mentoring other students. Coworkers often mentor fellow coworkers. We also know that within families, grandmas and grandpas are some of the most powerful mentors out there. They are the ones who are passing down the family traditions and values. They're the ones who are oftentimes passing down the religion in the family. These are all things that are mentorship, and those are all really powerful ways that we can give back and that make us feel good. It allows us to say to ourselves, I matter. And this is the same for volunteering. Most people volunteer and they don't even realize they're doing it. That's when you're engaging in whatever community activities there are. You might be helping out a neighbor who needs something done. This is all considered volunteering, and it's really doing all sorts of informal things. You can do it formally or informally. Everyday kindness is another way that we can do this. And that's the simple holding the door open for others. That's as simple as smiling when you pass someone. It's as simple as if you see somebody, is having something that is heavy to lift and you give them a hand. It's these kinds of things that make a difference. People are always doing these. I can't even say every time I go out, there's somebody doing something nice. And when I acknowledge that somebody's done something nice for me, it makes me want to go and do something nice for somebody else. So if you find yourself realizing, oh yeah, somebody just did something nice for me, or I just did something nice for someone else, count that. So this is part of what we can do, the more you rather than new you. So if we think of new year, more you, that's a good one instead of new year, new you, because we really want to get more of ourselves out there and the great things that we're already doing. So um, I don't want to really belabor this, but I do want to say that if you can give yourself a 2-week sprint of just getting out there and getting yourself started with this, you're probably going to see that if you even gave yourself a mini goal of once a week, I'm going to connect with somebody. Once a week, I'm going to do a nice act for somebody. If you do something like that and call it your 2-week sprint, that you're going to do this in the first 2 weeks of the new year, you'll probably see that you continue this throughout the year. So I hope that this has been helpful. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope that everybody gets the most amazing year ever and that it's your best year yet and only gets better every year. So have a great new year, everybody.